as I've said many times, you got to take anything Tyson Fury says with a pinch of salt because he often contradicts himself. He often says things just for hype. And he doesn't really mean a lot of the things that he says. Tyson Fury is a guy with a massive heart. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he's got great skills. But I am concerned about him taking on Deontay Wilder in only his third fight back. Coming off the back of a fight against Tyson Fury and Francesco Pianetta. I am concerned about that because I don't know whether he's going to be anywhere near ready for a Deontay Wilder after such a short rehabilitation period. I don't know whether he's going to be ready for that, and I suspect he won't be. I want to talk about the approach that Tyson Fury might take in the Wilder fight and how the Wilder fight might pan out. Right now, if you were to ask me how I see Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder going if they fight in November, I see Deontay Wilder knocking Tyson Fury out. Tyson Fury might be ahead on the cards. It might be the 10th, 11th round. But I just feel like after this layoff and after this dramatic weight loss and the drinking drugs and depression and all this kind of stuff, I don't know how Tyson Fury is going to hold up in a 12-round fight. I suspect he won't hold up very well. I suspect he will slow down quite dramatically in the second half of the fight and become a lot more hittable. That's what I suspect. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tyson Fury is the miracle man. Maybe he can do what other fighters can't do in terms of recovering from everything he's put his body through. Maybe it's not just his skills that are extraordinary, but also his powers of recovery from, coming back from depression and being overweight and drinking drugs and all that kind of stuff. But assuming he's not a miracle man in that regard, I think that what he's put his body through will catch up to him in the Deontay Wilder fight if they fight in November. Whether it will catch up to him early or late, at some point it's going to catch up to him. I think he's going to slow right down at some point in the fight, and Deontay Wilder's going to catch him. And when he catches him, don't be standing behind, Tyson Fury when he falls. That's what I think. I think he really needed several more rehabilitation fights. He needed to gradually step his level of competition up. And this is what Tyson Fury himself has said. This is what his own brother has said. That ideally they would have wanted more fights before going into a fight against Deontay Wilder. But they say, hey, it is what it is. We don't have more fights, so we got to deal with the situation as it is. It's like the old saying goes, don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. And I guess that's what Tyson Fury is trying to do here. But the reflexes of Tyson Fury are what concern me the most, and also his stamina. Those are two things which could have been seriously affected by what Tyson Fury's body has been through in the past couple of years. The stamina and the reflexes. Hand speed looks great. Movement looks great. But if the reflexes are not quite there, and if the stamina is not quite there, Deontay Wilder is going to catch him at some point, whether it's early in the fight or late in the fight. Deontay Wilder could be getting outboxed. He could be 9 or 10 rounds to 0 down. But we know Deontay Wilder can produce tremendous punching power even late in fights. We saw that against Artur Szpilka. We saw that against Johan Duopa. We saw that even against Eric Molina. How many rounds did the Molina fight go? 8 or 9 rounds? So Wilder's got power late in fights. We know that. He's even got speed late in fights. He's got energy late in fights. Deontay Wilder's been in shape probably all his life. He certainly hasn't been out of shape during his boxing career. He's a pure athlete. We can't say the same for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury ain't been living a life. So let's say the fight starts out early on and Tyson Fury realizes that his timing is not quite there. His reflexes are not quite sharp enough to box at long range with Wilder. Wilder's easily evading his jab and all this other stuff Fury's doing. What does Tyson Fury do then? And people might say, oh, that sounds ridiculous. Wilder can't box. He don't have good boxing skills. There's no way he's going to frustrate Tyson Fury on the outside. If this was a prime Tyson Fury at his absolute best, I tend to agree with that. But I'm not expecting to see a prime Tyson Fury. I'm expecting to see a Fury who's not quite there yet. And if you go back and look at the Steve Cunningham fight, in the first round, Tyson Fury was frustrated with the fact that he couldn't hit Steve Cunningham with anything clean. The problems were there in the Steve Cunningham fight even before Tyson Fury got dropped. In the first round, he could not pin Steve Cunningham down because Cunningham was quick. Cunningham was more elusive than Tyson Fury's previous opponents. So Fury got frustrated quite quickly. He started beating his chest. He started saying, come on, come to me, to Steve Cunningham. Let's fight. Because he realized quickly that this guy's reflexes and his movement were going to be difficult for him to deal with on the outside. And after he got dropped in the second round, that's when Tyson Fury said, you know what? I ain't boxing this guy at long range. He's too quick for me. He's too awkward. He's too slippery. He's too elusive. I'm going to have to take it to him. I wouldn't be shocked if something like that happened against Deontay Wilder. And I know Deontay Wilder is not as technically good as Steve Cunningham. But Deontay Wilder is a lot more elusive than people give him credit for. Yeah, he is. A lot more elusive. Deontay Wilder's not a guy who gets hit with a ton of punches in most of his fights. So I could envision one scenario. There are multiple scenarios that I can envision, but one scenario I could see as being realistic is where Tyson Fury comes out in the first couple rounds, can't land anything clean on Wilder, realizes his timing and his reflexes are off, maybe takes a big right hand, gets hurt or dropped, and then he tries to do the same thing that he did in the Cunningham fight, puts his hands up and tries to walk Wilder down. I could see a situation like that unfolding in one scenario. In another scenario, maybe Wilder is getting outboxed for several rounds, like he was against Gerald Washington, like he was against Artur Szpilka here and there, even against Luis Ortiz, a situation where Wilder's getting outboxed. But what happens when Wilder's getting outboxed? Eventually, he lowers the boom and he finds the sweet spot. He catches you with a big right hand, the Alabama slammer, and then it's good night, Vienna. One way or another, I see Deontay Wilder catching Tyson Fury. I'm not convinced that Fury can be back to where he needs to be by November, December this year. I'm not convinced by that. And another factor we have to take into account here is Tyson Fury's temperament. You know, people are going to look at the Steve Cunningham fight and say, well, he didn't have Peter Fury in his corner. That's why he got frustrated so early, and that's why he was making all those mistakes, because Peter Fury wasn't there with him. Well, Peter Fury's not with him now. You know, the time when it's easy to be a trainer is when things are going well. But when your fighter is in a crisis, that's when it's difficult to be a trainer. That's when you really show your worth and show your value. And I'm not saying Ben Davison can't do it. I'm not saying Ben Davison is not a good trainer. He might be the best in the world for all I know. All I know is Ben Davison is unproven. There's a question mark over him right now. I rate Peter Fury as a trainer very highly. Those are big boots to fill. And there's a question mark as to whether Ben Davison can fill those boots. And when Tyson Fury is in a crisis, and I think he will be at some stage in the Wilder fight, then we'll find out if Ben Davison could do anything for him. Because Tyson Fury is an impulsive character. We saw that in the Cunningham fight. We've seen that in many fights. What Peter Fury was able to do was rein Tyson Fury's impulsive streak in and make Tyson Fury more disciplined, make him more calm. Peter Fury had a calming influence on Tyson. That calming influence in Peter Fury is no longer there. Now, Peter Fury wasn't just a calming influence on Tyson, but he was a disciplinarian. Peter Fury is a man who commands respect, but he's calm with it. You understand? He's not like some calm wallflower, some shy, retiring individual. No, Peter Fury is a strong man, a man who commands respect, but he's calm. He's rational. He's logical. He's calculating. That was a very good influence in Tyson Fury's corner. Peter Fury is a man who's been there, seen it, and done it in life. A very experienced man. John Fury, Peter's brother, said that if Peter didn't get involved in the streets like he did in his younger days, he would have been a successful lawyer or a banker or whatever the case may be, because he's that business smart. And I can see it. Peter Fury's he's a smart guy. Tyson don't have that in his corner no more. Now he's got Ben Davison, who's a young guy, unproven. And he's got his dad, John. And his dad, John, loves him. And his dad, John, is a fighting man. But his dad, John, is not the coolest head, is he? His dad, John, is a fiery character, a passionate character. When Tyson Fury is in a crisis, is John the one who's going to be calming him down? Is he going to be the influence that Tyson Fury needs? Is he going to be reining him in, or is John Fury going to be getting carried away? John Fury gets carried away at press conferences, never mind in the actual heat of battle. At press conferences, he's getting carried away. In interviews, he gets carried away. So what's going to happen in a fight? When Tyson Fury's in a crisis, is John going to stay calm, or is John going to get carried away? This is the thing. This is another one of my concerns with Tyson Fury, is does he have the calming influence that he needs in the corner right now? A calming influence with authority that he would listen to. Because he's going to need that in a crisis. Because if a fight goes the way of the Steve Cunningham fight again, and it happens against the Deontay Wilder or one of these big heavyweights, Tyson Fury is going to be in all sorts of trouble. You can't afford to be getting reckless like that and having lapses in concentration like that against the Deontay Wilder, because he will put you to sleep. It won't be like Nevin Pikage or Steve Cunningham. It'll be far worse. Now, people are going to point to the Klitschko fight. Look, the Klitschko fight is done. Tyson Fury himself said that version of Fury is gone forever, never to return. And I believe that. I'm not convinced he can be anywhere close to as good as he was there against Deontay Wilder this year. I'm not convinced. And if that's the case, as I say, I think Deontay Wilder's going to land the Alabama slammer on him at some point, and it's going to be good night Vienna. Whether it's early in the fight, late in the fight, somewhere in the fight, Wilder's going to land it. Yeah. And how elusive is Tyson Fury really? Is he really the heavyweight Mayweather? Against short guys, yeah, he don't get hit too much. Chisora in the rematch, Christian Hammer, these kind of guys, he's not really getting hit. And against Klitschko, he hardly got hit for 11 rounds. But he hardly got hit because Klitschko wasn't throwing any punches. See, Klitschko is not a risk taker. Klitschko is not the kind of guy who says, you know what? Let me throw caution to the wind and get hit with 3 punches just to land my own one shot. Klitschko's not that kind of guy. But there are heavyweights out there who are that kind of guy, who will throw caution to the wind and they'll take 2 just to land 1. When they're in that type of situation, they're getting outboxed. They will. They'll take risks. And in the 12th round, when Klitschko decided to finally go for it, he was able to land on Tyson Fury with relative ease. Now, he never really caught Tyson Fury with full power because it was the 12th and he didn't have full power in his shots. But he never really caught Tyson Fury cleanly with full power at any point in the fight. If he had, Tyson Fury would have been eating the canvas because Klitschko is a tremendous puncher. And Tyson Fury's been on the floor from far lesser punches than Vladimir Klitschko. But be that as it may, Klitschko was able to apply pressure and get some kind of punches on with relative ease in the 12th round once he decided to let his hands go. So as far as I'm concerned, Tyson Fury has a good defense, but it's still relatively untested at elite level. We don't know how well that defense will hold up when he's in there with a Wilder, when he's in there with a Joshua, when he's in there with the top guys who are big guys like him. I mean, not quite as tall as he is, but there or thereabouts. We don't know how his defense will hold up against them kind of guys who are actually going to throw shots. And I've said before that Deontay Wilder is low volume when he gets in there with another tall guy. Yeah, he is. And in fact, Deontay Wilder's low volume when he's in there with a guy who's playing chess with him. When Ortiz was playing chess with him early, when Spilker was playing chess with him early, when Gerald Washington was playing chess with him early, Deontay Wilder wasn't doing much. He was just sitting around waiting for the big right hand because Wilder knows he's not a great boxer. He knows he ain't going to try box with a boxer. He's just going to bide his time and wait for you to get sloppy, for you to get overconfident, for you to get a bit too ambitious. And then he's going to seize his opportunity. And he's patient with it. The Spilker fight is a perfect example of how patient Deontay Wilder is. Because that was looking a little shaky for him on the cards, that Spilker fight. You know, even the Ortiz fight, there was no urgency from Wilder. When he was getting outboxed and he was looking a little shaky, Wilder was like, "Nah, I'll get you. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'll get you." And when Ortiz got a little overconfident, Wilder got him. That's when they feel the power. That's when the power shocks them. So those are my thoughts about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder and what may go down in the ring. As it stands right now, I would have to pick Deontay Wilder to knock Tyson Fury out. Or to at least drop him en route to a decision. Maybe a controversial decision, who knows? But I just feel like Deontay Wilder's sharpness and his punching power will play a big part in the Tyson Fury fight at some stage. They have to manifest themselves at some stage against the Fury who I am not convinced is anywhere near close to being back to his best in terms of his reflexes and his stamina and his overall fitness. I'm not convinced. So let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people. It's happening. I'm out.